Here's a neat little trick in ES6. Yeah, whatever. Suppose I have an array. I want to save each of those to a separate variable. Like const s1 equals students, square bracket 0. Const s2 equals students, square bracket 1. Man, this is a lot of typing. Too much typing. I won't do it. I will not stand for it. I can do this. Const S1, S2, S3 equals students. Could that be true? Console log S2. Oh, what happened? There you go. Feedy. Totally worked. So this is called destructuring assignment. If you want to take the items in an array and save each of them out to a variable, you can do this. If I left one out, still works. It'll just take the two that I gave names to. If I don't want the middle one, if I don't want a variable for the middle one, just put comma S3. Yeah, does it? Come on. Trying to say that might explode. That might not be how you do it. Wait. Yeah. I know. I want to see what the. Yeah, S2 is not defined, right? But does S3 still work? Yeah. Why might you want to do this? Let's say we have const person equals Keith. What's your last name? Keith? What's your last name? All right, let's say const names equal person dot split. You guys know split? Split on a space. So now I'll have an array, Keith, comma, Hanson, like that, right? So what if I want first and last name in their own variables? I can say const first name, last name equal names. Totally works. Yeah.
Does this work if you're not declaring it in the same line?
Yes. I mean, if it's a const, you can't do it on separate lines, but yes. If I said let first name, last name equal names. Yep.
So what if you just had, like, for example, an array, you set first name, last name inside of an array, and that was your declaration on the line above. I don't know, this is getting more and more convoluted the more I realize.
So then you can just, you can destructure that array by using this syntax.
Okay.
And it works on objects too. So let's say const that one guy equals Mark. Mark, what's your favorite Def Leppard album? Okay, good job coming up with one. Do they spell it right? Okay. They generally don't spell things right. I just had to think about that. So I want a variable with his favorite. I want separate variables here is what I'm trying to say. Const but I would use curly braces instead of square brackets, right? Because this is an object. Curly brace, name, album, equal that one guy. Alert, album, hysteria. Totally worked. That is super useful. So, just to use another example, what if, say, I had a variable, a variable called, I don't know, props. And it had a property of current note. And maybe it had another one called breakfast. What was for breakfast today, Joseph? Pop-Tarts. And I have a function called, I don't know. Note form, I don't know, whatever. It's just a function. And when that gets called, I pass in this variable as an argument. But inside here, I'm only interested in one of those things. I'm only interested in breakfast. Sure, I could just put my arg in here and use it and say props.breakfast, but man, who wants to do that? What if I put the curly braces inside there and I say breakfast? Does it work? Did it really grab it out? Yeah. Pop-Tarts! Yeah. Or say, object. Yay. Current.title. Uh-oh. What'd I screw up? Oh, now it says whatever. Okay, cool. Cool. So what? We could, in, say, note list, we got a bunch of props. Now, looking here, it's hard to know what props this is actually dependent on. But I could destructure them here. Let's see. I need props.notes. So let's get notes out of there. I need set current note out of there. So if we do that, then I don't have to say props.notes. I can just say notes. Now I don't have to say props.setCurrentNote. I can just say setCurrentNote. Because I've just created local variables inside this function that happens to be a component, that I destructured out of that props object that got passed in. So you'll see this a lot. We can do this here. We could do it inside note. The only one I think we need in here, we need set current note and note, right? Cool. In note form, I could do the same thing. I need current note. Oh, well. So to do it here, I don't have my props coming in as an argument, right? I have to get to them with this.props. This .props .current note .title is a ridiculous number of dots. What I could do is inside my render function, just make a local variable. Const, curly brace, current note, or just note, whatever. Current note equals this dot props. And it's going to grab that key out of there and create a local variable for it. So I can shorten this dot props dot current note dot title to just current note dot title. And current note dot body. So it just makes the JSX a little tidier. Not super important, but handy, and you will see that. I'm not going to bother in main.js because sooner or later we're going to have an awful lot of props in here. So did break something, failed to change one of the references. So in Node.js line 5, I still have props set current note. Yeah, I didn't change any of these. Not props.note, but just note. That's better. Does it still work? Sure does. So just a new trick for our arsenal. Again, that is an ES6 feature called destructuring assignment. Use destructuring assignment on props. So in the course of assigning something, we destructure it. Break it out into its parts. Keep just the parts we want. Yeah, Alex.
What was the way that we made any sort of form? So we just set the value. How do I make it so that we can change it again?
So that we can change it again. Yeah, we can't do that yet, can we?
What?
So yeah, we're setting value here. But if you actually tried typing in here, you can't type. Is that what you're asking? Yeah. Yeah, we'll deal with that in just a sec.